In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
But I do ask every publisher, every editor, and every newsman in the nation to re-examine his own standards and to recognize the nature of our country's peril. In time of war, the government and the press have customarily joined in an effort based largely on self-discipline to prevent unauthorized disclosures to the enemy. In times of clear and present danger, the courts have held that even the privileged rights of the First Amendment must yield to the public's need for national security. Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack. Those who make themselves our enemy are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends is in danger. And yet no war has been declared. No borders have been crossed by marching troops. No missiles have been fired. If the press is awaiting a declaration of war before it imposes the self-discipline of combat conditions, then I can only say that no war ever posed a greater threat to our security. If you are awaiting a finding of clear and present danger, then I can only say that the danger has never been more clear, and its presence has never been more imminent.
It's time to recognize that we've come to a turning point. We're threatened with an economic calamity of tremendous proportions, and the old business-as-usual treatment can't save us. Together, we must chart a different course. We must increase productivity. That means making it possible for industry to modernize and make use of the technology which we ourselves invented. That means putting Americans back to work, and that means, above all, bringing government spending back within government revenues, which is the only way, together with increased productivity, that we can reduce and, yes, eliminate inflation.
The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Hello and welcome to Inform America. Today is April 29, 2020, and my name is Rich Merritt, your host. I'm still banished from the studio because of the COVID-19 killer virus. Anyway, hopefully next week it's supposed to be cleared up and I'll be back in the studio from what I'm being told, which is good. I like that. I can show up in person instead of talking on a telephone. But anyway, again, like I do every week, I'd like to ask people to go to the Boston Broadside newspaper and check them out. I believe it's a fledgling newspaper that warrants our support because they're telling us the truth. And that's a rarity in the mainstream media, and I honestly think that this is all going to be coming to a head in the near future. I don't know when, but the near future, and the exposure of the media that 5 corporations own in America. So we'll see anyway. Boston Broadside newspaper. Check out the nationallibertyalliance.org and please take those courses. I think now they're requiring you to donate $5 a month to that. And I can tell you that for your children, there is no better education on civics and government. You really do need to take that. Everybody in America should, and if they did, we wouldn't be in this mess. I can promise you that. Thirdly, I'd like to ask that you support my book, Stand Your Ground. It was a book that I wrote on basically how the Mass Correction Officers Federated Union got started in 1989. I was the spark that ignited that movement that got it going. And everything in the book is true, 100%. It can all be documented. So I thought maybe some of the people that are still around, you old correction correction officers. You could check it out. You can get it on Kindle books through Amazon. They're supposed to have the hardcover, but we're still working on it. We haven't issues. But there will be a flyer put up if it's not being put up now, because I can't see, since I'm at home calling this in. I can't see what's going on in the studio, but the flyer is either up or it will be up at the end of the show. And there's a link underneath the picture. If you click on that, you can purchase the book through there, and I'll be happy to autograph it for you through that way. Obviously, Kindle books I have no control over. I can't do that. With that, I got 3 categories of people that I want to talk to today, and hopefully we can reach all 3 of them, excuse me, before the end of the show. So the first one, I'd like to put up a video, and I can talk through it, hopefully. This is for the people. I'm sorry, my phone just went off and distracted me. For the people who have been with me, and by the way, for the purposes of this conversation, I'm the government. For the purposes of this discussion, I want to talk to you people you sheeple out there, and let you know, by the way, the governor is amongst you guys. You could see the sheepdog there. That's the governor of your state. But I wanted to mention to you, first and foremost, going way back to the Kennedy assassination, I protected you. I shielded you. I didn't allow the facts to be, the documents to be brought forward. We put them on hold for 50 years, knowing that you'd be harmed psychologically, so we didn't show you that. Also, the Vietnam War, another traumatic thing, a little harder to hide, but it's only about 150,000 dead Americans, so we could put the international banks in Vietnam and other things, but that was one of the reasons. And then we had Ruby Ridge, where Randy Weaver, terrible, terrible man, he sawed a barrel of a gun off. And in return, we, the government, killed his wife, killed his 14-year-old son, shot him and shot his next-door neighbor to teach him a lesson. So you people, you sheeple out there, weren't disturbed by it, and bad Randy didn't hurt you with this sawed-off shotgun that the ATF asked him to do. Then you got Waco. Waco was another thing where 80 people, men, women, and children, were burned alive because the government said, without any proof, the government said, these people are bad. They're stockpiling weapons. There was 180 people living there, so I don't know how many guns there were, but they stockpiled weapons. And David Koresh, the leader, was also a pedophile and sleeping with young girls and all these other things. There's no proof of that, just the government saying it. So we burned them to death, 80 of them, and we shielded you from that too, so you didn't have to worry about it. Then 9/11 came along, and if anybody has watched 9/11 False Flag with Ken O'Keefe, and believe me, there were multiple other ones. There's 3,000 scientists and engineers that signed a petition saying 9/11 is a bag job. If you don't want to watch that, though, you're not going to know. Well, 9/11, we shielded you from that, too. Those buildings came down. We imploded them. It wasn't the planes that did it. We imploded them from the bottom because 2 planes hit 2 buildings, but Building 7 had to be brought down, too. And it fell in a free-fall implosion that we caused. We protected you from it, though. Let's go from there. With 9/11, then we went into 15 of the 19 people who allegedly flew the planes into the buildings, and down in Washington and Pennsylvania, Shanksville, I believe it was, crashed it into the ground. Anyway, no traces of a plane were ever found. Incredible. Anyway, 15 of the 19 people who flew those in, they were from Saudi Arabia. So we, the government, said, we're going to fix them. We went into Iraq and bombarded the hell out of those people. There again, it was for the banks and the money. That's what it was about, nothing else. Pure money and greed and power. All right, then on top of that, we started a war in Afghanistan. We're still there after 19 years, and the only thing that anybody can ever come up with is we're protecting the poppy fields so we can keep the heroin going. I know no other way, and I don't know if anybody has a reason why we're there for 19 years. But we're still there. Now here we are in 2020 dealing with the COVID-19 scare, and that's what it is. It's a globalist scare tactic. They've shut down the global economy. But if you look at it, they've only hurt mom and pop stores, the restaurants. Put the kids out of school. The malls, which are the stores that mom and pops own, they're not the multinationals that the globalists own. They're still open. What I can't understand is why people, sheeple, listen to what is going on and what their government is telling. There's no proof, no anything. And by the way, you're going to find out in short order about this Fauci, I'm not sure what his name is, the Inspector General, Medical General, whatever his title is, I don't know. He's a general treason is what he is, but it'll come out. It'll come out. Don't take my word for it either. Keep your eyes and ears open and you'll see it. But the sheeple out there, please, stop being a sheeple. Don't stay inside the barbed wire and the government protect you. The government's been lying to you for your whole life. Your life is a lie. And until you wake up and realize that, nothing's ever going to change. It's going to continue to spiral downward. Don't take my word for it. Don't look into the matter. Someone's going to come and save you somewhere. It ain't going to be that sheepdog governor that you got in the pen with you there. All right, having said that, I'll let it go and move on. I want to speak to the people who generally watch this program at Form American. I want to thank you for watching it, because it isn't the sheeple, unfortunately. But I want to say this. I just found out that down in Boston or in a couple of the suburbs of Boston, they're fining people $300 for not wearing a mask outside. And I'm saying to myself, have we gone totally crazy in this country? What is wrong with us that we have to wear? I don't wear a mask, by the way. I'm not going to wear a mask because I take precautions against getting sick, number one, and getting the virus. People who are the top world professionals in this field are telling you, and I gave the names of them last week, I believe, are telling you how to protect yourself from the virus. I don't know that there is any guarantee, but why not take the precautions? Your government isn't saying to you, this is what you need to do so you don't get the virus. Your government's saying to you, go home, lock yourself in your home, and wear a mask because it's a deadly virus. And I've only tripped over 200 or 300 dead bodies so far in the last month, so I don't know what they're talking about. I don't think that's many. I don't even know anybody who has the virus. This is so much BS that I can't believe the world is falling for this garbage. It's all going to be coming out. Whether or not it's too late, I don't know, because the one thing that Richie Merritt doesn't know is what they're up to. The globalists are up to something. All of the people that are being hurt are your neighbors, the ones that own the little Papa Gino's, the Domino's, the little pizza places, 99 restaurant, all these restaurants. They're not multinational billionaire people. They're just hardworking people. Those are the ones that are out of work. And the government's throwing away so much damn money now. Of course, most of it goes to corporate America, but still they're throwing it around to people. Why? What's going on with that? I can't understand any of this. It makes no sense to me. The logic escapes me everywhere. They're saying that there's this big killer disease out there, and like I said last week, and this was reported on the news, I'm assuming it's accurate, over 400 people in a local hospital were laid off, and another 900 and something had their hours curtailed. I thought they were busy. If they're busy, you need people. What are you laying them off for? It makes no sense. Healthcare people are being laid off, and now they say, "Oh, you got to look out for the what do they call them? The first responders." What for? No one's going to the hospital. They're laying off people. What is going on? I mean, people got to start asking questions, even if there isn't. They may not have the answers. Start asking questions, because this is nuts. This is total ludicrousy. And, I'm saying this because I do study it. That's what my life's work is to study it. I've been doing this stuff for 30 years, researching it, and I'm no expert. But, you got to utilize a little bit of common sense. Why are they doing this? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, folks. I'm sorry. But that is the question. Why are they doing this? Why are they hurting people? Why are they cutting off the food supply? And I haven't been able to verify this because I just heard it this morning, but I heard that the National Guard was sent to reopen that pork plant that closed down. All of this is being done for a reason, and I believe it's to hinder or destroy the food chain or the food supply. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know it for a fact at all. But everybody should start asking questions and stop saying, hey, let's elect this guy president or governor, and they'll save me. The only one that's going to save you is you. And if you can't wake up and you can't say, what's wrong with all of this? This is not right. And start asking questions. If you want, get on the computer while we still have the internet. Start looking up answers. Dr. Buttar, Rashad Buttar, excellent doctor, rated one of the top 50 doctors in America. Judy Miklevitz, she's a molecular biologist, talks about this. And I think who's the best, but please, it could be any one of those three. Dr. Shiva Ayadure, who's got 4 degrees from MIT, and he's got a PhD, one of those degrees. It's a PhD in biological engineering. Not only does he tell you about the virus, but he tells you how to avoid getting it. No guarantees, by the way, but he's telling you what to do to try to avoid it. The government isn't telling you that. They're saying stay in your home and be afraid. Here where I live, I was taking my grandson to play basketball. They chained up the basketball court and says, we don't want you getting the virus. So now I've got an 8-year-old grandson who can't do anything. The parks are roped off. The cops will arrest you. Is this what you want? Do you really think this? I don't do anything the government tells me to do, because the government are my public servants. They work for me, and I don't work for them. And if I'm not breaking the law, you got no business saying scat to me. Don't say it. I don't want to hear it. Run the affairs of the government the way we elect you to do when we pay you to do, and leave my life alone. And they also have no authority to shut down these businesses. None whatsoever. I defy any of them to show me the law. And I'm not saying the statute. If a statute is repugnant, contrary, or in opposition to the law, it means nothing. It's null and void. The courts have ruled throughout history. Now, the courts today in 2020 are as corrupt as you can get. There is no courts of record. There is no common law jurisdiction in the United States because the courts and the corrupt judges have taken over the system. One way or another, all this is going to come to a head. I hope, and it's funny because I'd advocate civil disobedience, but I don't even consider it disobedience. If the police out there, and this is for other police, if the police out there are enforcing orders that are against the law, that's not civil disobedience. What they're doing is committing tyranny. And I'm suggesting to you guys, if the police stood by the people and said, hey, enough is enough, this is crazy, it would be a very peaceful revolt against the government. And the government would say, well, guess what? We have no enforcement mechanism, because right now the people are saying that. I have no enforcement mechanism. It's supposed to be the sheriff, but the sheriff isn't doing it. That brings me to my next point. In 2016, I ran for the office of sheriff in Hillsborough County. Out of 3 people, I came in 3rd. Back then, I had one person working for me. That was it. And I got 16,000 votes, which I was very happy to get, believe me, and I thank the 16,000 people that voted for me. I'd like to try it again. If I get in, I can serve 1 term, because I'm an old fart at age 68, and I can only serve till I'm 70. So I got 1 term. But I think what's coming up, a lot of people can't deal with, because they don't know what's going on, and they don't know the law, which is even worse. So I'm asking people in Hillsborough County for help. If I get enough of a response to warrant running for sheriff, I will do that, and I will make a commitment to everybody in Hillsborough County, all 31 cities and towns, that I will be your sheriff, and I will uphold and defend the Constitution, which means I will uphold and defend your rights outlined in the Bill of Rights. Nobody will take your gun. Nobody will tell you where you can stand. Nobody can tell you where you can say. I will defend that. I make a commitment to that, and I will make that commitment on my life because I'm tired of the garbage that's going on. Anyway, I need to hear from people if they want to support me. My email address is on the screen, nlarjmnh@gmail.com. If you want to help, and by the way, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I'm not looking for a dime. I want no money. I just need people to help get the word out. I don't want anyone's money. And I didn't want anyone's before. I know a couple of people gave me some money and I really didn't want it, but I obviously I thank you for it. I need to know from you people. I only got a couple of months to pull this off if I'm going to do it. Took me a long time to make up my mind, but I have made up my mind because I do know the law. I've been studying it for about 30 years now. And I've offered attorneys and judges to come on my show, Inform America, if you want to debate me. Because what you have going now is admiralty jurisdiction. Some people refer to it as administrative law. Well, your admiralty jurisdiction, admiralty law has no jurisdiction for the people of New Hampshire. They're people of the land, and regardless of what you've done to circumvent their rights and make them, with the birth certificate and all the other garbage you do, it's all fraud. All of it's fraud. And I will defend people's right under the land jurisdiction, common law, the law of the land, which is the Constitution, both state and federal. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up in about the next 2 minutes because I don't know how much time I have left. However, I need some people to, well, if I don't hear from anybody, then I won't run for the position of sheriff of Hillsborough County. But if I hear from enough people, there's 31 cities and towns and I can't cover them all, and I need help. If you care, or if you have the time, the elections are in November, I would appreciate your help. And I'm not going to, I want to tell people straight up, I'm not the type of person to play games, and what I mean by that is, if you help me, I will thank you, and I will appreciate that. But I'm not one of these people to say, well, I'm going to give you a nice cushy job here, and that's what's killing this country. If you do it because maybe the issue will be straightened out. Maybe not. Maybe they'll the corrupt people that we have running this planet will take me out in a heartbeat. But if that's the case, so be it. So be it. I'll do my damnedest to make sure that the rights of the people of Hillsborough County, New Hampshire, are upheld. Having said that, I just wanted to mention to you that please keep your eyes. The sheeple out there, I will say this. Stop grazing in the field. Stop listening to what the government tells you. Your government is your worst enemy. If you read the Constitution, you'd know that Article 1, Section 8 of the federal Constitution defines and limits the powers of the federal government. They've gone so far beyond that, it's like leap years into outer space, light years actually. They're so big. And if you're wondering why things are the way they are, that's it. They're so big. I mean, they just appropriated over $2 trillion as a stimulus package. We're broke. Where'd you get $2 trillion from? More debt for your children and grandchildren. Now, I'm not going to debate the issues of that, but for the sheeple out there, start listening to your heart. Start listening to some of your neighbors, because we all live in this world together. And I will say this to people. I don't have anything to gain. Nothing. This show, Inform America, I'm doing this because I give a damn about people. Whether you believe that or not, I do. I genuinely do. I see small children that used to play right around my building. I don't even see them outside anymore, like they're prisoners. Anyway, with that, thanks to people who do watch me. I thank you, and please share this, spread it. I need this to get around in Hillsborough County, at least so people see that they got a viable alternative. With that, I want to thank everybody for watching, and God bless you all. I hope this stupid thing is over quickly. Take care.